Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, the people's channel, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all the interwebs. No channel works harder to keep you in the know about crypto. Guys, coming to you a little bit late today. I forgot to make a video this morning playing an exciting baseball game. We were down 11-6 in the last inning when we came back and won. Absolutely phenomenal. My kid's batting like 800, but digress. So here is the situation, guys. Situation is, right now, we are at a very pivotal point for Bitcoin. Today is a very pivotal point. We are teetering right now on a 10th week in a row of a red candle for Bitcoin, the most in history. I believe the record before now was 7. We're up to 9 now. And you got to wonder, how long is this bearish action going to last? Now, today, I think the close is 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I think maybe it's 7, maybe it's 8. I don't pay that much attention to the exact time. It changes, of course, when there's daylight savings time. So I think maybe it's 7, 6, somewhere around there. But the important part, guys, to watch is where we end up at. We've seen a pump today. So now we're up to $30,300. If we close below, I think it's $29,464, we will get a red candle. Guys, we need a green relief candle for Bitcoin, and I really cannot understate this. I am now believing, with every day that goes by, with all the stuff that we are seeing, that there is a strong chance, I'm not going to call it 50-50, I'm not going to say most likely, but there is a strong chance Bitcoin has already bottomed at 25,500. I told you guys we were putting some stuff together a couple months ago that was indicating around a $25,000 low for Bitcoin for this cycle. And then we got the dramatic drop, and we went down to 25,500 in one day. And so that really threw things off for us. But that was the target that we were kind of looking at for a low. Now, we've been on record as saying that there's a chance, 85% drawdown. We've seen it in the last 2 cycles. We got to get and put Bitcoin at 10,300. So I don't want to fill your dreams with hopium and say, oh, we've definitely bottomed. Still strong chance we go to the 200-week moving average, which is around $22,000. But guys, with every passing day, I become more and more convinced that the top of this market was in April of 2021. It was not in November. That was a false pump. That was an exaggerated dead cat bounce. There is so much evidence to point to that, including the Pi cycle top indicator, the Colin Talks crypto, fear and greed index number is similar number to that. When we look at the retail sentiment, when we look at the volume, that was in April and May. Elon Musk was pretty much the trigger of the end. If that were the case, Bitcoin traditionally bottoms 12 to 14 months after the top. That would put the top or the bottom right in this time frame. And if we think about how long it took Bitcoin to turn around after it bottomed to start getting back up to the $10,000 number and higher, it took a considerable amount of time. Something to think about. The bottom of Bitcoin was in December of 2018. In the summer of 2019, 7 months later, we got a very large exaggerated pump that ended up going to another drawdown. If that were the case, then that would mean maybe towards the end of this year, we see one big massive pump, maybe following the midterm elections, before we're returning back to lower prices. One thing in the last cycle that we did have going for us was the pandemic. I think it was March 12th, that crash. That's unlike anything we've seen in the history of Bitcoin, because that was a larger macroeconomic event that caused the price to plummet. But here's the important thing I want you to take away from this video. Everybody out there is saying price of Bitcoin is going sub $20,000. They're saying altcoins are going to get gutted. They're going to get murdered. They're going down much, much, much further. And it's not necessarily the case. There's a good chance. I don't want to negate that and say that's not going to happen. But how do you take that information in a scenario where we may get one more large drop and one where maybe we've already bottomed? How do you take that information and do something with it? Well, guys, it's all about scaling in. I'm telling you, right now, you should be scaling back in if you've had money on the sidelines, but not the majority. Now, if we start going back up, and let's say you didn't accumulate enough, well, what do? Well, you just got to pick entry points and move in. But right now is a solid time to be lining up, especially when you think about the fact we haven't had this much bearish action in a row ever in the history of Bitcoin. Great chance we get a massive relief rally soon. So even if we do eventually go back down and make new lows, maybe this is a good spot to start moving in. Check out Frankie Candle's channel. Maybe a good time to start trading. You go to frankiecandles.com, look at all his trading tools, and follow him as well, his YouTube channel, for maybe some leverage trading longs here. Look for some short-term price action and a relief rally. We do believe there's a very good possibility that does happen. But this is the important thing, guys. People are telling you, whatever you do, don't scale in, go much lower. There's a chance we have bottomed. You have to take that into consideration. It's not most likely. I still think most likely we still do have more to the downside. But if I were to tell you a 60-40 scenario where 60% we go down, 40% we've already bottomed, well, 4 out of 10 times is a lot of times for you to miss out on all the possible accumulation. Now, when I say accumulate, we're talking Bitcoin, we're talking Ethereum, we're talking XRP, we're talking Cardano, maybe Polkadot. We're not talking about anything outside of that. You should not be going to low-priced altcoins. You should not be looking at 100x coins right now. This is not the time for that. That will be much later in the cycle. So, all right, guys, that's all we got for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Take that information, do something positive with it. That's all I got. Be blessed. BitBoy out.